Hello, everybody, and welcome to the only podcast on the entire internet, Biggs.
The only podcast?
With over 11,000 subscribers! Da-da-da-da! You see that, Biggs? Our channel hit 11K.
Wow.
Are you excited? Did you ever think? Anyway, Biggs, we're going to take a toast to our 11K. What is this? Biggs bought high-class, top-shelf booze.
It's 15-year-old Glenlivet Scotch.
Okay, should we both take a big swig of this expensive booze?
This is not swig Scotch. This is sip Scotch.
Okay. Oh boy, that is. How would you describe that flavor? Because this is the one that you like, right?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. The best way to explain it is it tastes like kind of not super spicy, but there's definitely a spice to it. Like I would say Oriental spices, kind of. And then it's obviously got like a really like old wood flavor from the cask.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I would say it tastes like drain cleaner. And it's just a bunch of horrible chemicals that are angry in my mouth, demanding that I don't drink any more poison. But if you hear either of us making distasteful noises throughout the show, it's because we will both be sipping our glasses to celebrate this monumental occasion.
Yeah, that's why I bought it.
Biggs, are you not excited about 11K subscribers?
I thought we weren't going to talk about this on the show, because the viewers don't really matter. It was just like
Oh, are you going to copy Rusty Cage's opinion from that video I showed you?
What?
Hey, Biggs.
I would never copy someone.
Biggs.
Especially Rusty Cage.
Speaking of my recent main channel videos, I don't know if you saw this, Biggs, but we talked about the extreme hide-and-seek tag, but we did not really get much of your perspective about it, especially because you left after we filmed the opening scenes, and you didn't even get to be in your own scenes. Do you want to, think back to about a decade ago? Did you have fun making those videos, or?
I mean, even if I had to wait till the end of the day to end up not recording my scenes, I think it was. I think overall it was a fun day. I mean, people were stressed and everything was just awful because of like the heat and then the lack of battery and. Shots having to be done on different parts of the city, but I don't know, when we were like not part of the current scene and everybody was just hanging out, I thought it was really fun. So I think
if anything, that was more stressful for us because you guys would be on the other side of the park, like playing music on a guitar and dancing and having fun, which you have to do because
otherwise it's just sitting there.
But sometimes we could hear the music and I'd be like, okay, would I have to yell across the park to make them stop for the scene? God damn it, fucking stop with the music! But
there was some chimp screaming from across. So.
Definitely a lot of chimps screaming because these fuckers won't stop playing guitar while I'm trying to film my scene, my most romantic date. Biggs, what at the time, if you did see the final project, despite being cucked out of starring in it, what did you think of it at the time it came out? And now that we've reevaluated it as adults, what do you think of it now?
So at the time, I think the project was kind of like scary to me, like the idea of filming all these things and wondering how it would come together. But
you had no faith in me as a producer, director?
Absolutely not.
Wow.
So after
I let you down up to that point?
I mean, we won't get into that.
We won't?
So once I watched it, I was like, wow, this actually meshes really well together. I think we did pretty good on all the shots. And with the actors we had, I think we did the best that we could have, at least in my opinion. So,
in my opinion, it is a marvel to that our group of guys got anything at all done that required more than minimum effort.
Yeah, for sure.
But watching it back, some of the clips are so painfully short. Some are like 7 or 8 seconds of content, and I feel like if I ever did something like this again, which we probably will, each choice should at least be a minute, right? If not way longer. People deserve more than half a sentence before moving on to their next choice, especially if they have to click on a whole new YouTube video to get to that result, right?
I mean, I think like the failures should be kept nice and short, but
I mean, you can still make it last a minute. Like, the best failure is Cobb having to tie my brother's shoes, and that goes on for a good little bit.
I mean, yeah, I can.
Although,
I guess
it could be one of those things where the occasional 5-second fail is funny, but when they're clicking on the options, they can see how long each one is. So that might be an issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Biggs, this is all leading up to, I don't know if you noticed in my video, but I had a straw poll for the audience because we, as the Simi and Jimmy audience, we like to think critically about everything in this world. And when we're told Biggs had to go home instead of filming his scenes because his dear old mommy needed him home in a jiffy, and some of us tend to think maybe he was lying out of laziness. So if we pull up this straw poll, did Biggs' mom really make him go home, or did he lie so he could ruin my birthday? With over 2,057 votes total, 73% of people agreed he lied to ruin my birthday, with only 27% of people thinking he actually had to go home. Biggs, how do you plead?
Well, I mean, I guess they caught me.
You got me.
At the time, I guess I resented Mumkey. You know, I just hated his guts. I hated being in his presence.
Wow.
I thought,
the truth comes out.
What better way to get back at my arch nemesis than to ruin his entire birthday? Like, what if I filmed the opening scene so he had to use it no matter what because he had no battery life, and then just leave, and he's out a whole character, and unless he just says this person had to leave, he had to, grasp at straws to figure it out.
It's especially tragic that the only segment that featured two characters at once lost one of them. How could we possibly go on with the same amount of characters as every other sketch? Oh man, poor Jared could not have carried it without Brandon on there. It would have been impossible.
It would have.
You can't jump into a dumpster full of acid alone. You need to have a friend jump in 10 seconds after you, but then you both react to the acid at the same time.
Exactly.
It's the only way. Well, I'm glad we got caught up on me actually making main channel videos, but let's catch on up with what's been going on this channel, Biggs.
Nothing for 2 weeks.
Okay, Biggs, last episode we announced we want to do a new show called TV Testers, where the audience chooses a TV show and we have to watch and review its worst episode, and the people seem to be excited about it, Biggs. We have our retarded asshole says, I like the idea of TV testers. Hey! Wow. You should do The Wire, House, Nostalgia Critic, and The Angry Video Game Nerd. Now, when I see that, I think episode 1, we know as soon as Nostalgia Critic is on the show, the rest of the series is going to be just internet bullshit because nothing will ever win again. So I think at least for episode 1, we should just stick to actual television shows.
Yeah.
Just so that we can create the essence of what this show is supposed to be.
And then ruin it later.
When it goes off the rails with Nostalgia Critic bullshit, at least we earned that.
Yeah.
So if he likes the idea, I think we could throw, House and Wire onto the list of people can vote for, or what do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
I haven't seen The Wire, but...
Jorge says, The Cleveland Show, I think that's perfect. I know the theme song by heart. Biggs, I know you do too. Go ahead and sing the theme song.
I'm a black man named Cleveland.
Keep going.
That's it.
That's the first lyric.
That's it.
Okay. So we'll put Cleveland Show on there. We've got an account called The Coke Man with the Pepsi icon said that TV tester's idea is really good. Biggs, is that your friend from the mall, Pepsi Man? Did he go through like a transition of some sort?
No, his name is like something Productions or something. I don't remember what it's called.
But so it's just a coincidence that we have a guy named the Coke Man with a Pepsi icon.
I mean, it's
who
probably
likes our content.
It's probably a fan of the show that heard Pepsi Man, and he wanted other viewers that comment to think that he might be Pepsi Man, and to, I don't know, give him attention, I guess.
We got the deepest lore going on in our literal fan fiction at this point. And finally, the last recommendation I saved was Flaviois says Corey in the House. You want to watch the worst episode of Corey in the House, Biggs?
We have to sit and watch all of it?
It's 20 minutes.
No, the whole show.
Oh, okay. I get it. You're saying every episode is the worst episode.
Yes.
But if every episode's horrible, then that means they're all good.
No.
They're all equally good.
No, they're all equally
Have
terrible.
you seen Incredibles? That's literally the point of the movie. Kids understand this shit, Biggs. Children. So if you would like to vote for which of those shows we watch and review in the very first episode of TV Testers, there's a straw poll in the description of this podcast. Go vote. And Biggs, I think the way we should do it, and maybe I'll throw a whole bunch of other choices onto the list too, so that people have more selection, is that people can vote for as many choices as they like. We were watching a Mr. Beat video recently about what's the best type of voting, and just let people vote as many times as they want for, I mean, once one vote per thing, obviously,
right.
But still you can vote for as many as you like. So I think if we put on a whole bunch of choices, maybe the top 3 or top 5 vote getters should go into some sort of wheel or bag, and then it's randomly chosen from there, so that
right.
if somebody wants to cheat the poll, they only get a 1 in 5 shot anyway.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. It'd be fun if we eventually did a Nathan For You episode, like find his worst rated one.
Like his worst rated one is probably just like 0.3 lower than the average, because they're all pretty consistently good.
Yeah.
I think.
But, I mean, it would be fun to watch again.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And maybe one day we'll actually watch some good stuff, and we won't just torture ourselves with horrible shit all the time. We have Swag Master Jeff says, Biggs gets called out for being manipulative and manipulates Mumkey into changing the subject yet again. What a psycho. Bring back our Brandon, a co-host with some empathy. It's just so tiresome to hear more and more of Big's lies and his constant harassment of Brandon Ocampo. Sometimes going as far as saying his full address in videos. Is that true, Biggs? Have you been doing that?
Yeah, he lives at 480 Southwest. What state does he live in? Carolina Street.
I think he's from like
Carolina.
Guam. He's probably in Guam.
Yeah, that address is copy and paste that into Guam, and then you'll find him.
Speaking of things that are really tiresome, this guy Great Cannoli says hearing Mumkey choke on Biggs's cock every 5 minutes is getting really tiresome.
So maybe we'll switch it up.
Do you know what they're doing with this bit, Biggs? You remember the tiresome thing from 4 years ago in the last episode?
No.
No? Okay, well, this next one's not going to make any fucking sense to you then. But AC Boy 13 says, this whole new segment where Mumkey and Biggs just talk about tires and just add up all of the types of tires that exist is really tiresome. Okay, Biggs, now that we're done talking about my main channel, and now that we're done talking about stuff on this channel, let's talk about both of us on my main channel with the finalized list of Wheel of Cursed Meals 2. Da-da-da-da. Biggs, you ready for this? You have recently repainted over the old wheel so that we can add the new items. So we need to decide once and for all the 16 items that are going on the second episode.
If they're on par with what I agreed to yesterday, I think I might die.
Well, if you saw my interview with Rusty, he was not impressed with our video, which I guess maybe you had to be there, because if I recall, a lot of those things were horrible, horrible fucking nightmares. But Rusty didn't like it, so
Yeah,
dog
and
shit
some
video.
of the stuff like we had to cut out because it took so long, and we literally ate it all.
Yeah. Yeah,
But it
you
was
guys are
like-
seeing the 45-second segments of like
It's
10
like-
minutes of torture.
Awful of me eating little rocks of skebbles.
Skittles?
Skittles.
That are cold from the Pepsi?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a big list here of a whole bunch. So how we're going to decide once and for all is I'm going to read each one of these, and we're going to place each one into one of 3 categories.
Okay.
One is obviously has to be on the list. Perfect. Let's do it. 2 is if we go through the list and we're desperate, we'll come back to these. And 3 is no, fuck that. That's lame. We can do better. Okay?
Okay.
So let's figure this out once and for all. And we should be writing this down somewhere. I guess I'll mark them if we agree to do them. Stick of butter. I'm going to go with that's a yes.
Sure.
It's a classic, and it's pretty difficult, and it's not that fun. Empty Rice Krispie box.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm down. We just have to get one. Bottle of ZZZ Quill. It's been very controversial.
Yes.
I just wanted to talk about it a little bit before we settle. But
I know, but I wanted the joke of just saying yes.
my cousin, who is like who knows a little bit about people who went through like drug addiction and shit, she heard that we were thinking about that, and she said, "Don't do that. That can kill you." So I think we should definitely have it on the
Well,
wheel.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nobody is forcing anybody to put anything in their body.
Basically, if you spin it, you lose unless you are like a madman like us.
Well, the whole idea is as Biggs' friend and as a competitor, I do not want him to win any points. I don't want him to drink the ZZZ Quill because then he'll be beating me in the game. So this is the most empathetic game possible. We are both trying to stop our friend from being tortured. I think it's a beautiful thing, Biggs. You have to torture yourself to win.
yeah.
For opponent's choice, classic. I think we should keep that. I like the game mechanic ones.
Yep.
Cold pocket, I'm not so hot about anymore. It just sounds like it's not gonna work because you can't physically eat a frozen hot pocket.
Yeah. I guess the only way we could do it is if we like pulled it out of the freezer and let it defrost on the counter and then you ate it.
But would it even be that bad or even fun to watch somebody do? I think we can put that in the desperate pile for now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll put like D for desperate. Just like, everybody who's voting D in November, D for desperate at this point, you know what I'm saying, Biggs? Uh-oh.
But they could vote third party.
Capitalism stew, easy. Just all the condiments and shit in my fridge. We'll fry it up on the stove and see if anybody can take a bite, because I couldn't. Mulled milk, that's easy. I just need to buy the milk once we decide we're actually going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll drink, just like if we buy like the smallest little carton of whole milk and I let it rot the fuck out in my fridge, just somebody has to drink the whole thing. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy, tastes good. Tarantula, easy, yes, because I still have it and I paid money for it. Rusty made fun of us for the cat food thing.
And also the cold noodle thing.
But I think we have it written down here, and I think we decided to upgrade it at some point to a cat melt, where Biggs is a chef and he'll make like a tuna melt the normal way, but it's a cat melt. Biggs looks like he was not aware of this idea. Did I come up with this, I guess?
Well, let's do it.
Would you do the cat melt?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it might actually be okay. It's just chicken in there,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean,
I guess
sure.
we'll do like maybe one of the gross seafood ones.
Are we gonna put it on?
On bread? Yeah.
Well, no, I was gonna say, what's that? Gluten-free bread.
If you go out and buy it, as the chef, you can put it on whatever you want. But then if you land on it, you have to eat it like that. You fucker. You can't just change the bread depending on who lands on
It
it.
has to be gluten-free.
Pick 3 blender, classic. It's the greatest example of strategy a contestant could have is, which 3 do you pick? 3 that your opponent would hate or 3 that you would hate?
I just visually shuddered at the next one because I know it's gonna be awful.
A shot glass of vanilla extract. Good one. Let's keep that on there. Cold hot wings. This was You take wings out of the fridge that have not been deep fried yet, and you just sauce them up and eat them without cooking them. You could probably get salmonella from that.
Yeah.
Probably get a tapeworm, which is why it's a good choice for the wheel. Are you wild about that one? Because you have to eat hot sauce and raw meat at the same time.
Sure.
You like that? Okay.
If I can stomach raw wings to get the point and then go throw it up, then why not?
I was thinking about
No.
No, I'm not taking anything away from you, Biggs, but I was thinking about the vomit rule. And there has to be some way to make it a little more competitive. So I think you can vomit, but not until... Is this what we did before, until the entire round is over?
Yeah.
Is that what we did before?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's fair. You just can't vomit until the entire thing is inside your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would have a problem with that.
Yeah. You can't vomit. You have to get it all down. And then you have to say, did I get the point? Yes. Then you can throw up. Otherwise, it'd be too easy if you could just eat it, throw up, and then get the point.
Okay, speaking of us making things better by turning them into sandwiches, we have a grilled crayon cheese sandwich, where you use crayons as the cheese in a grilled cheese. Somebody said, hey, you've had Pepsi Man, Pepsi Boy, Pepsi Lad, he ate one crayon. Why not do a whole grilled cheese of it?
Well, I guess if I'm buying a loaf of gluten-free bread.
Yeah, might as well have options for it. Oh my god, that's horrid. Okay. What else do we have on here? Bacon-flavored lube. Already paid money for that, so we have to do that one.
That's actually a recommendation, too.
We have coyote urine. About 3 years ago, somebody sent me a bottle of coyote urine in Mumkey's mailbag. Biggs is losing his mind. And I think we decided, now that I finally found it in my closet, as I was cleaning out my closet, as Cobb's favorite musician would probably say, we decided for the coyote urine. I said, hey, you want to do a shot of it? And Biggs said no. I said, okay, what should we do? And he said, how about because it's like a spritzer. You want to spray it around to scare things away from you when you're hunting? Is that the idea?
Something like that.
But we're going to do one spritz in the mouth, and then you have to review what it tasted like, and then do a second spritz to earn the point.
Yeah, here's the thing. You don't get the point after the first spritz.
No.
You have to do that if you choose to go for the point.
Yeah, you have to get the spritz and then explain it in detail and then choose to do it again.
Yeah, that's how you get the point. You have to do 2 spritzes.
And I think the opponent is the one who's doing the spritz into your mouth for you. It's horrid. I mean,
dude,
I don't know what coyote urine smells like. Is it horrible?
Dude, as soon as we open that cap...
That's why we're doing that outside my house. We're not opening that one inside.
As soon as you open that cap, literally like a 20-foot radius around us is just going to be unbearable.
Oh my god!
It's so bad. As soon as that hits your tongue, it's going to quiver up into the smallest thing.
Okay, well... so let's do a check mark for coyote urine. That should get us pretty close to... See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 check marks.
What about that?
There's this one says raw onion and vinegar shake. Do you still want to do that? Is that good?
Ugh.
You think that would be a gross thing to do?
Yeah, that would be awful.
Okay. So that puts us at 15. So for the final slot, should we think of one more strategy one? Something more creative than bankruptcy or lose a turn, but something with a little more in the Jackbox games, you could screw your opponent.
I know what we should do.
What?
It should be steal a point slot, and to steal their point, you have to do double what they did.
But what if we don't have any more? What if you just drank all the bacon lube? What if you just drank all the bacon lube?
I thought we were doing a shot. It's a whole bottle.
I thought you said we're doing the whole bottle of bacon lube.
What?
Isn't that what you told me? Was drink the whole bottle?
No, we were going to do a shot of it.
I mean, I'm fine with this, but do we have... I don't know if we have ×3 of all of these things. I only have one tarantula.
Yeah, but chances are... I mean...
Think of something that will actually fit within the rules of the game and not break it, potentially.
I don't know then. I'm not sure.
You're not the creative type, Biggs?
No.
It could be some sort of game of chance or a way to fuck over your opponent for his next round, but you like have the choice, and if they survive, the gamble, then you get punished for it. Think of Survivor and all the things they did to each other.
We have an absurd amount of Buffalo Wild Wing sauce.
Yeah.
We can just make the worst ones.
Or like the opponent gets to make any Buffalo Wild Wing sauce concoction they want.
Drink or something.
And you have to chug it because we know which ones we both hate.
Either chug it or they have to put it on their next spin.
I think it should be a spot on the wheel for B-Dub's sauce cocktail, where the opponent gets a certain size glass, maybe like these. Well, not quite the Scotch glass because that's a lot of barbecue to just chug, but some sort of. And they just gonna mix whatever they want together, and you have to chug it. That sounds good. Okay, so yeah, that's all 16. Hey, we did it. So Biggs will get this wheel all ready tonight, and then we're gonna film it tomorrow. Da-da-da-da-da-da. No, I don't even have milk yet. Come on.
I'll probably be gone when you wake up.
You'll probably be gone before I go to sleep tonight. You're probably leaving before this podcast is over. Biggs can't wait to go home and play fucking, Pirate Rampage? He makes fun of me for watching pirate anime all day. I wake up, he's been playing a pirate fucking video game for 9 hours straight today. One session just sitting there. What is this pirate game that you're so obsessed with?
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because I actually tweeted out about it. It's called Sea of Thieves, and yeah, I know I keep saying, I'm going to start streaming. Biggs, you're an idiot. You keep putting it off. I have been putting it off, but you know what? It's getting close. I have a final setup. I rearranged my whole room so I had a better backdrop. But Sea of Thieves is definitely one of the games I want to start streaming, and I would love to play with fans because you can have up to 4 people on this huge ship. And yeah, you go around, you collect gold and stuff, and there's other players. You can shoot their ships and sink them and stuff.
Is it really worth abandoning your fans and friends to play this game for 9 hours straight in one session?
I don't have to abandon my fans when I can just start streaming it. So,
abandoning I was talking more like today, all day, today.
Okay, so here's how it normally goes at Mumkey's house.
We
either sit.
God, I don't want to hear this.
We either sit and watch, what's his name, Marksman, which is a search and destroy streamer, for an ungodly amount of hours. We watch reruns. Reruns of Wings of Redemption.
I want you to give your Marksman review because you really feel specially about him. I want to know.
Dude, this guy. Okay, imagine
does he go on the pathetic list? I'm Marksman, a very famous Call of Duty search and destroy streamer who lives here in Iowa, who lives literally closer to me than Biggs does. You're going to talk shit about this man? Let's hear it, Biggs.
He is in the #1 spot with the pedos and all the lolly lovers.
He's the worst,
He's awful. He is the worst human being.
Why?
Imagine.
Why?
Imagine you're watching your favorite Twitch streamer play a video game, right? And then you see him visually being garbage at the game. It may only be for one round, but he is literally garbage this round. And he's screeching. This grown man is screeching like a 12-year-old child into the headset at his teammates for being quote-unquote garbage or non-existent. And it's like, dude, you literally shot the wall thinking you were going to kill someone. He outplayed you. Grow up.
How'd I get outplayed?
It's so annoying to watch. I think that's why I've grown a hatred for Wings, too. Initially, I was like, yeah, I don't like this guy. And then,
you don't like Wings of Redemption?
He kind of grew on me, I was like, I could be kind of sympathetic, But then it's just gone back to, no, he deserves no sympathy. He's... Okay,
sympathy? Why are you bringing sympathy in? This is a guy who's just creating entertainment. Am I entertained when I watch this or not? And the answer for me is, not his streams, yes, but his the highlight channels I very much enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. People making fun of him. And I was like, man.
No, not even making fun. Just literally cutting in the parts of the stream when he's talking. It'll turn a 2-hour stream into a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
And sometimes when he's talking, he's charismatic and funny. But a lot of the time, some Wings just bitches about his teammates.
So a little Biggs rant about himself, but mainly Wings, because we're in like the same position. We're both grotesquely overweight. We could both easily do something about it. Wings apparently did, but
He got the Mexico surgery.
there's not really much to show for it.
He's lost over 100 pounds. I think he used to be 450-pound man.
I'm surprised he has not gained it back. The way he sits there and drinks his, I'm drinking a Yoo-Hoo today, and constantly eating Wendy's.
What did
and
you
stuff.
drink today?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying exactly. We're in the same position, yet he's begging for sympathy, and I realize that I don't deserve it.
Okay.
So, just that mindset of me watching him has made me really dislike him again. It's like, man, this is like if I were to like constantly cry about all of my stuff and then do what I'm doing already and not doing it. That's why I just don't bring it up. Like, yeah, I'm not doing anything to better myself. Whatever. I'm going to keep playing Pirate Game.
But maybe if you bring it up and talk about it, you'll actually think about it and be like, oh, it wouldn't be that hard to do some things.
I mean, I guess.
I'm sure Wings didn't
just
decide to go to Mexico one day. He had to talk about it and talk about wanting to make a change.
Yeah, but to my main point, it's just his whole shtick is crying about problems he's creating, and it's awful to watch.
Okay.
The funny part is when people do make fun of him. That's the funny part, which is the highlight reels that you watch.
Yeah, a lot of them. Anyway, that's enough talking about, I guess, Biggs' favorite streamers online. Let's talk about something, because when you come to my house, Biggs, I don't think you should misrepresent. It's not always watching overweight Twitch streamers scream about Call of Duty, Biggs. Sometimes we do watch movies, and at the end of the previous episode, we spent a good quality amount of time discussing the Jake Gyllenhaal film that I don't know if anybody in our audience is aware of, but Biggs is actually a pretty big fan of this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of flown under the radar for a while.
But it was called Donnie Darko, and I figured people can't just think we like only Donnie Darko.
That's fine for me.
No, that's the tip of the iceberg. Biggs is a Jake Gyllenhaal fanatic. Biggs would legitimately not go gay for Jake Gyllenhaal. He's beyond that. He would only have a sexual relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal. No other person can compete. Biggs is
starting from now, right?
Starting your whole life, I imagine. Have you not been faithful to Jake?
I'm sorry, Jake.
The point is, we're going to do a new segment called Jake Review. Since we had so much fun talking about Donnie Darko, I figured, hey, we watch Jake Gyllenhaal movies all the time now. How about we talk about more of them on the show? And today I figured we would talk about David Fincher's hit film, Zodiac. Da-da-da-da, starring Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal, and
Mark
Buffalo. Biggs, what did you think of Jake Gyllenhaal in Zodiac?
I think I even said it to you while we were watching it. So all of his characters are pretty, like, close. They're all kind of off.
He kind of has a type.
Yeah.
He's kind of autistic and creepy.
But especially in Zodiac, the character he portrays is basically grown-up Donnie. Like, the way he gives his lines, the way his character's, like, constantly doing some weird, like, I don't even know thing with his hands and stuff. Like, it's very Donnie reminiscent. Like, the whole time I'm just imagining Donnie grown up and, like, Frank with him still, and he's, like, doing this, like, investigation.
Have you watched any interviews with Jake Gyllenhaal? Is that how he acts when he's himself, or is that him just in character mode?
No, that's just him.
He's just always like that?
It's, like, obviously when he's not acting, it's not as, like, you know, embellished.
Pronounced.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. He does have, like, a weird presence to him, but it's so genuine and lovable that you can't dislike it.
Zodiac, for those of you who don't know, is the real-life story about the search for the Zodiac killer, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays a cartoonist at a newspaper that is investigating the story, and he gets involved in it, and he's so genuinely curious that and he becomes obsessed with wanting to find out who the Zodiac killer is, and he loves doing puzzles, and Zodiac is releasing puzzles and all these things. And Jake Gyllenhaal's life slowly devolves over years and years, and he becomes such a one-track mind, obsessed lunatic with finding out the truth of the Zodiac. And we see how Jake's character goes from the Boy Scout family man to a raging fucking madman who only wants one thing, and we'll see whether or not he gets it.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those movies where like it's a character arc, but it's like almost a character like de-evolution or something, where you just
it's the
watch
downward spiral arc. Sorry, I just took a sip of that delicious whatever the fuck it's called.
But like you have this full like well-shaped character, well-rounded, and then they just destroy him throughout the movie to where he's like, yeah,
it's the deconstruction of a man.
It's great.
And did you think that Jake Gyllenhaal, was it a convincing performance from the little autistic noob who works in the office to the singular man who, for sure, spoiler alert, finds Zodiac and stares him in the face?
Yeah, I think like the acting definitely showed what the character was supposed to be at certain points. So like in the beginning, he was like, kind of funny, like doing dumb stuff, and people are making fun of him in the background, and he's like fumbling around and stuff. And then towards the middle of the movie, you see him like starting to like get serious and really into this. And by the end, like you said, he's just like a frantic maniac sprinting around to different scenes.
And during that sort of scene when he's at the deepest of his madness, we see his relationship with how he meets his wife, and then they have kids and they're married and all that. And the way that they actually meet, their very first date, has to do with the Zodiac killer, and it's really exciting and interesting. And they stay up all night together to wait for the results of something with Zodiac, and it's an exciting start to their relationship. And then 8 years down the line, when they have kids and stuff, and Jake is still obsessed with it, the wife says, "This is just the first date that never ended." Right. And I think that's the gut punch that really made him realize, oh my God, I'm just pursuing this like fantasy of excitement and this obsession, and I'm letting my real life that's right here around me completely fade away, and I didn't even realize it was happening.
Yeah. I don't know, the whole relationship side with his wife, I mean, it was there, and it was like supposed to make the viewer express emotion, but like for me, when I watch it, I don't care about the wife at all.
I think maybe that was designed on purpose, because it shows how much of Jake's life is focused on the family and the relationship as opposed to the Zodiac shit.
Yeah, I could see that. The writers are like making you almost fight on his side, even though we all know it's like wrong.
Well, recently the most recent Martin Scorsese movie, The Irishman, had a controversy where they said, the Irishman's wife only gets 11 lines of dialogue in the movie and it's 3 hours. What the fuck? And everybody had to, talk these babies down and explain that was the point, is that he wasn't spending any time with his wife. He was spending his time doing this mob shit. Right. And at the end of his life in his old age, his deepest regret is that he didn't spend more time with the family. That's the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have any other thoughts on Zodiac? Where would you rate it on we're going to do the hierarchy. So if we're going to do a tier list, S tier through F, Donnie Darko obviously is S tier. Where does Zodiac plug in on the Jake Gyllenhaal movies for you? And we didn't even talk about Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr.'s great performances, but this is really Jake review.
Yeah. It's a really good movie. I do really like it, but I would say it's probably like a B tier for me, because I think there's a lot better Jake movies out there that deserve like the A position.
This was only the second time that I'd seen it, and I hadn't seen it in maybe 6 or 7 years, so I did not hardly remember the movie at all.
Right.
I recall watching it with Cobb, and he fell asleep very early on, and I always just sort of had the impression that the movie was kind of a slow burn. But after watching it again, I realized the first half of the movie is kind of slow, but it's building up and explaining and setting up everything you need for a very long feature-length film second half of the movie.
Right.
That is so fast-paced, and Jake Gyllenhaal finally has all the pieces, then he just needs to connect them, and he's going from place to place, and it's the most high-octane thrill ride you can get from Jake Gyllenhaal running into libraries and interviewing people and shit.
Right.
So it was way more exciting and fun than I remembered, and also very dark and upsetting, and they catch the guy, and there's a snafu, and he gets away with it.
Yep.
Ted Cruz's dad fucking gets away with the whole thing. I would say this is, I mean, it's a fucking Fincher film. They're all God tier. I would put this one in like A tier, like high A to maybe low S, but I'm going to stick with high A for Zodiac.
So, I mean, I was giving it high B, so might as well just get low A then.
Yeah, that's fine by me. I think a Fincher film with this cast and I mean everything. Oh my, it's not like the best Jake movie of all time, but
right.
it's a great film.
I'm sorting these by Jake movies,
yeah,
not by
fair.
The producer and everyone else. It's because he did a phenomenal job in it. Don't get me wrong, but I think he did even better in other movies, and those deserve to be higher up.
All right, Big. Should we move on to some voicemails and see what people want to say to us this week?
I guess if we have to.
Hello, Biggs and his friend from the Mumkey and Biggs Show, the podcast. If you check the comment section to any of your videos, you may notice some funny cunt writing the line #NotMyBrandon. Now, anytime this gets brought up, Biggs' friend seems to do most of the talking, and that makes sense because, well, Ocampo was Biggs' friend's friend. So, I'm going to ask Biggs' friend to shut the fuck up and allow Biggs to talk about this. Biggs, what was your opinion on Ocampo and what were your experiences with like him? Oh, and of course, what do you think of him now? To open up my next question, remember that
How
scene in
many
Joker
fucking questions does he think he needs? Okay, I guess answer his first fucking paragraph question.
I mean, I kept saying, like, I don't want to get involved with this because I don't know him, and I was not part of the situation at all. And
he wants to know what you think of him in general. Why do you have to bring up he has one bad night years ago,
No,
and that's
because
all you can fucking
that's-
think of? He's a whole human being with a whole life and history!
that's literally what everyone asked me, like, oh, what do you think of that night? And I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't
What do you
interact.
think of Asperger Ocampo?
He's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
he just decimates his old colleague clown friend. Well, imagine that didn't happen between Ocampo and Jackie. Mumkey, if that didn't happen, do you
Wonder
think
what
you
he's
still would
talking
have made
about.
this podcast with Biggs? But if not, what do you think you would have done instead? Do you still think you would be friends with Ocampo? What would be the case? And lastly, a few podcasts ago, someone called into the show and was promoting their YouTube channel. I was interested in this, but I couldn't seem to find their YouTube channel anywhere. So, I'm going to shamelessly promote my YouTube channel on this
So, what was the question I was supposed to answer? What would happen if they didn't have a fight?
Yeah. Do you think things would be any different now for you?
I don't fucking know. I don't.
I don't.
If you guys think I think about that kind of shit, you're sorely mistaken. I have so many other things in my life that are both more and less interesting, but I think about those instead. I don't fucking care where my life would be in this butterfly effect scenario where Burger isn't a raging alcoholic. What fantasy world do I have to enter to even imagine what it would be like? I don't know. And frankly, I don't give a shit. Biggs takes a big swig of his fucking booze as I'm talking about alcoholism. You want to talk about that, Biggs?
No. We got
Biggs,
more voicemails.
Before yesterday, how long had it been since you had a drink of booze?
Halloween.
So why the relapse now? What, 7 months later? I have a feeling.
What
I feel like I'm
relapse?
seeing some deja vu. My my
Deja vu.
my
Like
overweight
that Japanese song
Hispanic
where,
friend
they,
named
like,
Brandon
drift
who
around a corner,
used to have an alcoholism
and
problem, and
it's
then
like
he
they're
recovered, and now he's
drifting,
hanging
and it
out with
says
me,
deja vu,
and he
and it's pretty
relapsed.
funny. So, anyways,
Biggs, why the relapse on the booze? Why are you drinking again? What a waste of money. Is it because we got 11,000 subscribers?
yeah, I told you that's why I bought it. It
Fucking
was
liar.
a celebration.
You fucking liar. Is this going to become a problem, Biggs? Should we talk about when I finally went to visit the Biggs cave?
Sure.
I believe it or not, I have not visited Biggs's humble abode since
It's
I've
very humble.
since I've moved back. There's so many more things to do at my house that it's no question. We always just hang out here. Biggs always comes here. And frankly, he would not want me to come hang out at his place, and for good reason. Biggs, you want to explain, I guess, what your living conditions are at your house?
Okay. So for starters, I had an apartment. It was a nice apartment, right?
Was it the one that I gave to you?
It gave to you.
I mean, I lived in it, and then I moved out so that
Yeah,
you could
and then I
move
took
in.
over rent. So it's not like
Yeah,
you
so
gave it to me for free.
You didn't have to apply for an apartment and pay the fucking fee and all that garbage. You just gotta move into my fucking room.
I still had to apply.
No.
I had to fill out paperwork and do a credit check to even move in.
That was all a lie so I could steal your identity. I kept all those papers.
Oh.
Moron.
So anyways, I had this really nice apartment with Cobb, and then you know what happened there? He moved to Georgia.
Okay.
And you know, just a couple of years before that, he was like, "Oh, you know that Mumkey, he's a real piece of work. What a piece of crap moving away like that." And then he does the same thing.
Yeah,
So
you know,
then-
the love bug, it takes a bite and it does a funny thing to a man,
Oh,
Biggs.
man,
what
I
are you
know.
gonna do?
So then I had my brother move in, and he was okay with it, you know, staying there.
Is this officially a piece of Biggs story?
Yeah.
How Biggs' living conditions turned into a fucking refugee scum hive?
So basically what happened, my brother moved in for a few months, and he wasn't really liking the $1,200 it was to stay there. And he had talked to his dad, my stepdad, about it. And his stepdad offered to let us move back in there. And it was like, he told us straight up, like, you guys don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay rent at all. And we're like, well, that sounds nice. You know, saving $700 or $600 a piece. So we moved back there, and originally the idea was to finish the basement. Well, we never got around to it. So me and my brother are in the basement, like on opposite ends. And like, so my room has like a framed wall, but I never got around to, you know, putting drywall up.
Yeah.
So instead of buying drywall, I, being lazy Biggs, went out and bought black sheeting and just stapled it up to the framed wall just to like visually block off my room so it's like pitch black.
So
when
it's
I sleep.
basically an entire section of a basement that is blocked off on all sides by like black trash bags.
No, it's so two walls are concrete and then the other two are black tarp.
Yeah.
And so also, before I moved back, that room was storage. Well, it's not a room, it's just an area.
And it still is storage to this day.
Yeah, it's still storage. So like there's my bed, my desk.
So you go through the black vagina that is the, you know, these hung up black tarps that are surrounding Biggs's little humble abode. You walk in to find just a sea of trash and garbage. It's nothing but piles of clothes and like fucking Christmas ornaments and trash and notebooks. The only things resembling somebody living there are a giant just bed in the middle of the room surrounded by all this garbage. And then in the corner, like two plastic tables put next to each other to serve as his desk for a computer that costs more than anything else in the room, everything else in the room combined.
Okay, so a realistic look at this room.
We should have just taken pictures. It's a nightmare.
You walk in, there's my bed. It's a Cali King. To the right is a dresser, and then to the right of that is it's like a L desk. And then normally my computer would be set up there, but when he was over, it was gone because it's at his house. So on my dresser, I have a 3D printer I'm making miniatures and stuff for like.
How
D&D
can you
and
have
stuff.
so much expensive, cool tech and you're living in
That's
a
the exact
fucking
thing.
nightmare?
I'm living there, and it's not bad. Like the space isn't full of
It's
trash.
horrendous.
So he said it was full of clothes and trash. The two things that he's talking about. One, my hamper, which was sitting on my bed, full of clothes that I needed to clean in the washer.
But if I look at the floor, there is more shit covering the floor than there is floor. What is covering the floor?
So behind where my living area is like old Halloween and Christmas decorations that are just there. And you know what? They're not impeding on my space, so what do I care?
Yeah.
He's thinking that me, a nobody, deserves to have a better living conditions than someone else. Like, I'm just your average squabble who doesn't matter. Why do I need to have luxurious living conditions?
Our buddy Jordan from high school, I went and visited him recently. We were hanging out and doing stuff, and he like struggled with like severe drug addiction for years, and he hasn't really stopped that sort of lifestyle at where his house looks like a guy who's been on meth for 2 years. His house would look just a fucking horrendous, awful mess, and you feel bad because they have pets. Like, he has a cat, and he would buy, like, the 20-pound giant bag of cat food. And instead of just, like, opening a corner and pouring it into a bowl, he laid the full bag, the giant bag, on the ground and cut it open like he was tearing open something's belly with a box cutter.
That sounds like
cut
our
it
old
down
trailer.
the middle. So, yeah, so there's a 20-pound bag of cat food cut completely open down the middle, sitting in a corner that the cat can go eat to its heart's content. Just a fucking dirty, disgusting. You imagine if this person moves out, they would just tear the house down instead of trying to move somebody else in. And that's the impression I got walking into your living space, Biggs.
But there was
How can you live like that?
there was no trash.
It's just not a nice looking
okay,
place to
there
exist.
was-
No wonder why
there
you're
was
fucking
one
depressed.
article-
I've never been so sad as when I walked into your bedroom. It actively sucked any joy out of me. It is the most depressing environment because you're surrounded by black. All you have is one shitty artificial light. You're not getting any sunlight, vitamin D. You're staying in this dark fucking basement room full of clothes and trash and fucking shit that you don't give a fuck about. And you're sitting in a corner under the glow of these screens. It's no question why somebody would be depressed. That is not how a human being is supposed to exist. You cannot live like that if you expect life to not be horrible.
So now let me give you the rebuttal.
The rebuttal's not going to be, well, actually, I'm happy, because we all know goddamn
Okay.
well that's not true.
That's fine. That's fine. And I've come to terms with the fact that I'll never be happy.
You could be just do anything
nothing
else.
will make it better. Okay.
So defeatist.
So the reason why I live like that is because the only thing I pay for is internet and food, which comes to a total of $100 a month. Why would I move somewhere where I have to pay $800 a month when I can have all these amazing things, buy all of this now? That way when I do have to move, I don't have to shell out $2,000 for the computer I wanted. I don't have to shell out $400 for this 3D printer I wanted. I can afford them now, so when I'm done with college, which I'm only in my first year, because I waited,
So the problem with
I
that...
can get out the other end with all the shit I want.
The problem is that you're
and
going to
then
spend the
move.
next 4 years living in a depression pit surrounded by flashy, expensive objects that don't bring you any joy.
The three things in life that bring me joy are as follows, and they're in order.
Blaze.
Blaze, my computer, and my bed. Two of which are in the same room. How could I be sad from that? That's not what I'm sad
What
about.
if you put them in a room
my
that had
living conditions
windows?
have nothing to do with my sadness.
I think it's not helping.
It's not at all. It's completely...
How often do you go for a walk outside and leave the basement in a given week other than going
I
to
leave
work?
my house
Other
almost
than
every
going
day.
to work.
Half of my week I spent at your house. What do you mean you never leave the basement?
Because in the
The main thing I do on
Because
PC...
you haven't been to work in weeks because of coronavirus and you haven't been at my house in 6 days, so I imagine you've been sitting in that fucking dark corner
The past
for
6
6
days.
days straight, not even streaming, just sitting in that dark corner
This
doing
is
fucking
Wednesday.
nothing. It's depressing.
I came over Monday, okay? Let's see. On Friday, I went to my aunt's house.
Okay.
On Saturday, I went to my cousin's house. On
Sounds like a
Sunday,
real orgy.
I went to an uncle's house.
Real
and I had
orgy.
Cookouts at every single one.
I can
had
tell.
A great time.
We all could tell what you were doing.
I had
there.
a great, amazing time.
We know.
And you know what? If there was another cookout Monday and Tuesday, I would have not been here.
Oh man! Wow, cucked. All of the fans were cucked. They missed out on this episode was supposed to come out on Memorial Day, and you just fucking ditched us all.
I ditched
It's cruel. Okay, let's see what else is in the voicemails. Biggs, I was just kidding. I don't actually care if you're depressed, and I hope your living conditions are dog shit, and I hope you hate it. I hope it's miserable, and I hope you take nothing away from anything that anybody ever says to you.
Thanks, buddy.
Fake fan alert. Let's see what Brian has to say.
Hey Mumkey and Biggs, I just want to say thanks for all you two do in the fight against hashtag fake fans. Thanks to your endless heroism, fake fans all across America are dropping faster than Biden's approval numbers with black people. To help you wage this unending war, I've attached a Mumkey and Biggs fake fan alert for you to call out fake fans anywhere you find them.
Biggs, what do you think of fake fans? How do you define a hashtag fake fan?
A fake fan is somebody that claims to be a fan, and yet they don't watch anything. They don't know anything from videos or like lore of channels. And then they come on with real fans and try to argue about things for no reason or spread falsities. That is a fake fan.
Okay, you want to hear this fake fan alert that I guess we can play in all future instances of a fake fan?
Sure.
Warning. Fake fan alert. Fake fan alert.
Okay, let's practice, Biggs. Say something that a fake fan would say, and I'll see if I respond in time with the fake fan alert.
Donnie's sister was not going to vote for Dukakis.
Hey Mumkey.
Oh,
Biggs,
shit!
I just want to...
Well, fuck it. I guess it's a broken system.
Who's the retard here?
Brian should have made it make way more sense.
Well, one's literally labeled fake fan
Clearly,
alert.
this alert
The
is
other
broken.
one is labeled as voicemail.
Do you want to talk about Survivor? This guy sent us a Survivor voicemail.
Oh, sure. I mean, we've watched enough podcasts the last 3 days.
Nobody's listening at this point in the show anyway, so nobody can click off a Survivor if they're not clicked on in the first place.
Hey Mumkey and Biggs. Sorry about the noise in the background. What are your final thoughts about Survivor Winners at War? Where would you rank this season compared to other seasons like Survivor Heroes vs. Villains or Cagayan? And how would you rate Tony's performance this game to other great castaways like Jeff Varner in Game Changers, King of Deception, or my nigga Dan?
Rip my nigga Dan, Biggs. I don't want to go on for an hour about Survivor shit. I'll just say this season is probably in the top 5 for me, top 5 season, and Tony is the GOAT. He's the greatest Survivor player of all time. There's no question. He was up against 19 other winners. There's never been a cast as good at the game as this one because they're all winners. And Tony played them like they were amateurs. It wasn't even difficult. He made it look easy. Tony's the best, and it was a great season. Biggs?
See, I've watched all of the Survivors, but the problem was I binged them all back to back, so they meshed, and I don't remember specifics like I should. So I would say the season was all right. I think it definitely geared up towards the last half where Tony really like started to pick up and just go full out. And
it's like that movie Zodiac. You need all the build up in the first half so that Tony Gyllenhaal can go crazy in the second half.
So for me, I have 3 favorites. I didn't even know who Russell Hantz was until Mumkey showed me his seasons. So he instantly became like my number 1 favorite. And then I remember back in the day when I originally watched Survivor, it was a thing that me and my mom did. What was the other Russell's last name? The big scraggly
Swan.
Was that him?
The black guy?
No, the big scraggly guy that was or no, not Russell, Rupert.
Oh yeah, Rupert.
Isn't it like Rupert Grunt or something like that? Grint?
I don't know his last name.
Yeah, so Rupert's my second, and then now Tony. Like, watching this season was just amazing at the things he got away with. Literally doing things in front of people's faces, and they did nothing against it. Is let it happen. So yeah, I would say it's definitely in at least my top 5 because Russell's had 2 seasons. I guess Rupert's also had
He's had a
2 or
shit
3.
ton of them, but he was on the same season with Russell,
with
too.
Russell. So the only memorable ones I remember is Pearl Island, and then the one with Russell, season 19.
Samoa.
20. It was 20. Then.
Samoa and Heroes versus Villains is 20.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and then Tony for this season, because I haven't seen... Well, I've seen his original, but I don't remember it at all.
Well, there you go, folks. That's the Survivor Corner. I hope you enjoyed it as much as the Jake Reviews Corner and the Trope Reviews is a different video that came out before this. But hey, that's it for this episode of Mumkey and Biggs. Biggs, you have anything you want to say? You got shit you want to plug? Where should people follow you?
Well, I have Twitter. I think most of the people that are going to follow me are already following me. So I have a Snapchat. And recently, I was begged to make an OnlyFans.
Oh, shit. We forgot to talk about that on the show.
Yeah, so I actually do have an OnlyFans.
Well, link in the description. Go hit up Biggs' OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What will they find on there? Nudes?
It's going to be exclusive. What should we call it? Like animal content with Blaze and Isabel.
Pussy content.
But Scorch is also going to make
it.
So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of great stuff. Probably some behind the scenes stuff of us just messing around. Like yesterday, we laughed our heads off for like 20 minutes over something stupid.
What was that?
I don't remember, but we were like dying. So you'll expect stuff like that, just random stupid stuff.
Okay, hey, we'll see you on OnlyFans, folks.
Yeah.